Now, if PERS were to collapse, there is an unfunded liability of that, there is no doubt. But keep in mind, PERS is probably one of the three most sound financial institutions in the world. If they fail, I think we've got a bigger problem ahead of us than worrying about that. The critical piece is we pay as much as we can. We pay that ahead of time, we pay that 100%, and that is more than most agencies ever do. A lot of talk about spending our reserves. Well, yeah, we do spend our reserves. That's what we put it in savings for, so that we can build stations, buy engines. Our engines are just like your cars. They wear out, they get old, and they get undependable, and we need very dependable apparatus. So we have a replacement plan. We put money in savings, and then we are able to purchase those things, paying cash, never financing anything, all through the years that we've been in business. A couple of dips in there. Obviously, like I said, we built Station 85, purchased the land, built the station, bought equipment, staffed that equipment. You can see the linear curve. It looks pretty good from 1999 all the way up to today. One of the statements that was made was El Dorado Hills is overstaffed. One chief to every 3 or 4 firefighters. And for the life of me, that is the fuzziest math I think I've ever seen. I couldn't figure it out. The real truth, 45 paid firefighters, 30 volunteers, 7 administrative personnel. Every way I add it up, it comes up to 82. I have 4 chief officers, myself and 3 chief officers that work together. It comes out to 20.5 to 1 if you ask me. Even if you only included the paid firefighters, assuming that none of those other folks need training or personnel or anything like that, it still comes out to 11.25 to 1. Much greater than fraudulently reported to you. One of the other statements, El Dorado Hills has fewer calls for service. Well, again, they said it's 1.5 calls per day. Fuzzy math, I can't quite figure it out. There's the calls since 2007, 8, 9, 10, and last year. And this statement comes really from just not understanding the fire service. A fire department's charter is really not to go to emergencies. A fire service charter is to prevent the calls from ever happening. Once a tragedy happens, it's a tragedy. And then we are there to help with that. We would rather not have that happen. These are just a small handful of some of the things that we do to prevent the call from happening, to educate El Dorado Hills residents, students, children on how to be safe in the community. Those are just a few of the things we do. Our motto, your safety, our commitment, we take very seriously. Our motto isn't, geez, I hope you hang on until we get there. So a number of calls is a really poor measurement, and it's really counterintuitive to really what a job of a fire department is. It's to prevent the calls from ever happening. Response time is truly the gold standard, and I'm going to show you just real quick why response time is so important. Maybe I'm not. Okay, so this is a United Laboratories experiment, and I've started it at 2-minute mark. But what they did is it's 2 identical rooms loaded with the exact same fire load. They started a fire in the old furniture, or they used a candle between a pillow and the cushion, and they used a candle in the same place on the couch in the new furniture. So what you're looking at is the old furniture, the legacy room. That's wood, cotton, and feathers. The new stuff that we deal with today in your home is all synthetic, plastic, laminate, and foam. And when that stuff heats up to a certain temperature, it is all a petroleum-based product. It turns into gasoline. I'm going to use this for a little safety teaching for you folks also, because it's our charter. Look at the smoke and the way it comes down. That's why we ask you to crawl out of your room if you ever have a fire. It's a lot of heat, a lot of toxic smoke up high. Notice the old furniture. It's barely putting off any smoke, barely doing anything. All right. So, why is response time so important? I think you just saw. We don't have a whole lot of time to get there and take care of that problem. Ironically, medical emergencies are roughly the same time frame. When you're in a world of hurt, medical-wise, you also have about 4 to 8 minutes before things go really bad on you. So it works well with the response time. So here's El Dorado Hills, and here's the foresight that this fire department and this board of directors has had over the years to get that response to you as fast as possible. And again, it's all been done with cash. Station 84 protects our north end. Station 85 protects our west end. Station 86 protects our east end. And Station 87 protects our south end. That's about as good as it can get for your tax dollar. One of the other statements that was made that was totally inaccurate is no emphasis on community first medical responder needs. And I think this stemmed from the grand jury report, and it was kind of built on through Dick Callahan's presentation. But I think it stems from the fact that we do run about 75 to 80%, 82%, it fluctuates every year, medical aid calls. Those are by far the most of our calls, as it is across the nation. Every department runs about the same amount of medical aid calls. So I think they thought that, well, why do we have 4 engines and only 1 medic unit? Why don't we have 3 medic units and 1 engine? Well, the truth of the matter is that an ambulance is a very limited resource. It basically has a gurney, it has the medications, and it can take you to the hospital. That's all it can do for you. It has no hose, it's got no water, it has no tools, no extrication equipment, no jaws of life, none of the other things that are needed on many emergencies. We run an 8.5 medic unit system here in El Dorado County. El Dorado Hills has one of those units. It's an excellent system. It's managed every day. It ebbs and flows. As medic units get busy, they send one down to cover and replace it. As one gets back, they put that medic unit back in its place. It's constantly managed all day long through system status management. It makes a heck of a lot more sense. And this board and this department, years ago, saw the need for advanced life support paramedic engines to respond to your medical needs. Every single one of our engines is staffed 24/7, 365 with paramedics. Those engines have everything on them that the medic unit has. They can do everything to you the medic unit can do, with the exception of take you to the hospital. And that medic unit is on the way to do that. It doesn't get any better than that. Lots of talk about El Dorado Hills fire pay history, and lots of numbers, 142, 200, they're all over the place. We'll start out by just telling you that for many years, El Dorado Hills Fire Department was a training ground for multiple other agencies. Back in 2002, pay and benefits were 30% lower than all of our neighboring districts. Hiring and training, as many of you know that have your own business, is a significant cost. There's background checks, lie detector tests, physicals, medical clearing, drug testing, and then there's all the training that goes into putting that employee into service, only to lose them to another agency. As you know, back then we were all experiencing rapid growth, Sacramento, Folsom, Roseville, Grove, El Dorado Hills, growing immensely. And we had decided that if we were going to provide the best possible service for our residents for the tax dollar, we were going to need to hire and retain very professional, high-skilled employees. Why professionals? Well, when you call 911 on your worst day, we need to be the best, and there is no question. You expect us to solve your problem, no matter what it is. And over 28 years or so in the fire service, I can tell you I've seen just a little bit of everything. Everything from rattlesnakes in the bedroom to plumbing issues to pet birds in a tree to all the fires and all the other stuff that we normally do. According to the community-driven strategic plan that we just completed a couple months ago, that's exactly what El Dorado Hills citizens expect. And we're it. We can't call 912. We've got to figure out how to take care of that problem. That's why we need professionals. Here's the true facts. The real truth, we are not excessive. We are comparable to the agencies we compete with. As a matter of fact, only Folsom is lower than we are, and it's the yellow category there, and I'm not going to go through each one. This presentation, by the way, will be available on our website, so you guys can go back and grab it anytime you want. Now, these are total packages. Now, and I'm going to touch on this real quick. What a lot of folks are talking about is the overtime. And what they've done is they've taken our overtime budget, which includes state OES overtime when we go out and send the engines down to LA for 2 and 3 weeks to take care of those big fires that typically happen down there. They've included all of that, and they divided it up between our employees and said, okay, well, here's the possible total compensation. Granted, some firefighters could easily make $142,000, $152,000, $162,000. But to do that, they would have to work almost 30 shifts of overtime. 30 shifts of overtime for a normal 8 to 5 job would be like working Saturday and Sunday every day or every week for almost the entire year, on top of Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So we do have the staffing that covers all of those stations. If somebody's sick, vacation, and gone, we fill those spots.